Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Wednesday the 27th of April 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.8% today to 7,261 points following the release of inflation figures showing price rises more than expected. The headline inflation rate rose 5.1% for the 12 months to the end of March, the biggest jump since the introduction of the GST more than 20 years ago. And the underlying rate rose 3.7%. That means rates could rise sooner than expected, and that weighed on the market. The tech stocks were among the hardest hit. WiseTech Global and Xero both fell by around 1%. EML Payments and Afterpay owner Block were down 6%, while Buy Now Pay Later group Zipco was off 5%. The banks also tumbled, with Commonwealth Bank, National Australia Bank, Westpac and Macquarie down 2% and ANZ off 2.5%. The retailers performed poorly, with Woolworths and Coles both down more than 2%, while Wesfarmers fell 1.5%. On the other side of the ledger, the energy stocks did pretty well after oil prices gained ground. Woodside was up 0.7% and Santos rose nearly 1%. Whitehaven Coal was the best performer, closing up more than 5%. Story number 2 is all about what else happened in financial markets today away from equities. Changes in interest rate expectations hits all parts of the market. In the bond market, short-term yields jumped, whereas long-term yields, what you get back on a 10-year bond, for example, fell. What does the bond market tell us? Well, the Reserve Bank will hike rates very soon and keep hiking aggressively throughout the year. That's if you believe the bond market investors. The Aussie dollar jumped. Remember, it's been beaten up recently off the back of lower prices for some commodities and expectations of big rate hikes in the United States. But now that the local central bank is expected to move on rates, the Aussie dollar is more attractive to investors. It's currently trading under 72 US cents. Story number 3, property group Dexus will buy the bulk of AMP's remaining funds management business for somewhere around $550 million. The AMP capital operations includes about $28 billion in real estate and infrastructure assets. It means that AMP won't spin out the business into Collymate Capital as had been planned. Story number 4, the chair of Commonwealth Bank, Catherine Livingstone, will retire in August. She's had the gig since January 2017 and has overseen the bank during the Royal Commission, various governance scandals, and during the pandemic, of course. The main job of the chair is to appoint the CEO, and Ms. Livingstone put Matt Comyn in the role after former boss Ian Narev was forced out. It's fair to say that the chair has done a pretty good job, with the bank now worth about $177 billion. And finally, story number 5, it's all about Wall Street. Fears that much higher interest rates in the US will hurt economic growth in the world's largest economy has hit the share market. This morning, the broad-based S&P 500 hit a 6-week low, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq tumbled 4%. It was the biggest drop for the Nasdaq since September 2020, and it's now down 22% from its record close in November last year. The irony is that the big falls are coming amid a strong quarterly earnings season in the US, with about 80% of companies so far having beaten analyst expectations. A couple that did so this morning were Microsoft and GM, General Motors. One company which bucked that trend was Alphabet, owner of Google. It posted an 8% decline in profit on the back of slowing growth for advertising on YouTube and search. That's it for the afternoon report for Wednesday the 27th of April 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Thursday Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.